All right, guys. Well, I'm trying to let this focus in here. So we're getting ready to watch the video for my Barnwell County bond hearing for wearing a mask in public. You can hear the cop boots lie uh, towards the end of it, where we're going back and forth because I'm trying to get a PR bond, because I believe, I'm unlawfully arrested, and I was hoping the judge would see this. But the way they put the charges on, it seemed like they had resisting first and then the mask. So the judge was like, for the charge of, you'll see it here in the video. They think they're slick, so they're busted. Here, now we'll play it.
For you.
Have been better, but doing all right.
All right. All right, it's Mr. Joshua Washburn. I'm Judge Anderson. We're here for your bond hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to advise you that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that, right?
I do.
All right. So, Mr. Washburn, we're going to go through the packet of paperwork. The first page you see is a waiver of the right to in-person court appearance and consent to audio conference. We're doing a video conference. Do you agree to have your hearing done in this manner?
100%. I trust you guys. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Secondly, you do have the right to have an attorney to represent you at the bond hearing. Understand, I'm not here to discuss any guilt or innocence or any facts on the case. I'm here just to make a determination for bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you wish to have an attorney present at this hearing?
Well, at this hearing, I won't need it, but further on, because I'm still in school, I got a lot of work to do.
Okay, you'll still be entitled to one at any future hearing. This is just for today's hearing.
Yes, ma'am. I'm fine today.
Okay, if you'll sign both places, I have an X mark on the lower left. All right, next page, top left, we have your charge listed, or charges. We've got 2024 A06-201-00077 and 78. Those are for resisting arrest, oppose or resist law enforcement officer serving process or making arrest, and mask, wearing a mask. And it kind of cuts it off there, hold on. Or it just says wearing mask and the like.
Yes, ma'am.
So with these charges, understand you do have a right and obligation to be present at trial. And should you fail to attend the court, it will proceed in your absence. And if you fail to attend as required, a warrant for your arrest will be issued.
Yes, ma'am.
You do have the right to a preliminary hearing. You have the right to a trial by jury. And you have the right to counsel and court-appointed counsel if you're financially unable to employ counsel. You understand those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please initial beside number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Something I want to mention real quick is that the Americans with Disability Act 42 United States Code 12203 A and B makes it illegal for those who retaliate against those who have opposed an unlawful order that goes against anything for the American with Disabilities Act, which I clearly state several times before my arrest, even in the initial lawful stop where Boots was checking for nefarious acts, where I, tell him that, look, Americans with Disabilities Act would, say otherwise, that I'm allowed to wear this mask, in public. As long as I'm not trying to commit a crime with it on, then it should be fine. But, his misinterpretation of the law, it just got his ass in some trouble. But here we go. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, man. See, sometimes, man, I got too much in my hands right now.
All right, top of the next page, paragraph C, it gives you information on how to apply for a public defender. So if you're interested in a public defender, you can make an application at the Barnwell Magistrate Court. The address and the phone number are listed there in that top paragraph, and a $40 filing fee for that.
Right.
Number 6 is apply here. Number 7, if the charges that are brought against you are discharged, dismissed, or null prossed, or you're found not guilty, you can have your record expunged. And number 8 is that you're required to keep the court notified of any changes of address until the final disposition of the charges. If you understand, if you would sign at the X mark, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Our next page is information regarding your rights. So you have been charged with a criminal offense, and if you're found guilty, you may be subject to penalties that could include a fine and/or jail time. Depending on the circumstances and the specific offense, you may be subject to additional consequences, including but not limited to increased penalties for later convictions, loss of your driver's license, or the loss of your right to possess firearms and/or ammunition. If you are not a citizen of the United States, your immigration status will be affected. If you are currently on probation or parole, it may be revoked. You have several constitutional rights, and some of these rights may be waived or forfeited, so it is important that you know and understand them in order to protect them. You have the right to representation by an attorney. You may hire an attorney, or if you cannot afford an attorney, you may be eligible to have one appointed to represent you at no cost to you. If you would like to have an attorney appointed, you must be screened by the court to see if you qualify. It is your obligation to be screened at the location identified in paragraph 5C of the bond checklist form that you received here today. If you do not hire an attorney or get screened for a court-appointed attorney, you may be found to have waived your right to representation. You have the right to represent yourself. However, you should be aware of the dangers of self-representation. Criminal defense is a complex and specialized field of law, and there may be specific factual, legal, or procedural issues relevant to your charge or charges that you are not aware of. If you exercise your right to proceed without an attorney, then you are responsible for complying with all applicable rules of court, including rules of evidence, procedure, and proper courtroom behavior. If you are convicted on the charges filed against you, in order to pay a fine, you can request a reasonable scheduled payment plan to pay the fine. And it is your responsibility to keep track of your trial date and obtain the services of an attorney before it, either by hiring one or getting screened and having one appointed. If you do not appear at your trial with your attorney, you may be found to have waived your right to representation. And again, it is your responsibility to keep the court updated on any changes of address before, until the final disposition of the charges, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sign there at the X mark, please. All right, your next form, mandatory court appearance. This is the only notice that you'll receive, so make sure you keep a copy for your records. And again, Mr. Washburn, they'll give you a copy of this entire packet once we finish.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're a defendant in a criminal case and required to appear at the Baltimore County Courthouse, 141 Main Street in Baltimore. Dates and times of these appearances cannot be changed for any reason. Your initial appearance is set for December 16th, 2024 at 10 a.m. in the main courtroom. Failure to appear will result in your arrest. You must be present at this appearance. If you fail to appear on this date and time, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest.
Oh, I will
You'll
be
placed
there.
in jail and may be held until the trial of your case.
Yeah, with a motion to
Failure obtain an
suppress and a
attorney may
motion to
result in your
dismiss.
bond being revoked, being held in contempt of court, fines, and or
Blah,
jail.
blah, blah.
If you understand, if you'll sign the lower left, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a motion to dismiss
The
and
next form
suppress.
is your notice of a right to a
Ready to
preliminary
go.
hearing. So you are charged with the above named offenses, and you may be entitled to a preliminary hearing. You must request this hearing within 10 days of this notice or lose your right to such a hearing. You can request the hearing by completing the lower left section of the form and returning it to the address in the center of the page, which is the Second Judicial Circuit Solicitor's Office. Now, Mr. Washburn, if you know you would like a preliminary hearing and you wish to sign that today, I'll go ahead and forward it to the Solicitor's Office for you, or you can wait and speak with an attorney about it. Which
Yeah,
would you like to?
I went ahead and signed it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I went ahead and signed it.
That's all right. So you want me to go ahead and forward it up for you?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll do that.
I apologize for cutting you off.
That's all right. All right, so Mr. Washburn, we're at the point now of the determination for bond. I have Lieutenant Boots with Baltimore County Sheriff, Baltimore Police Department here. In the courtroom, he is going to present any criminal history and any information he feels that the court needs to know to determine bond. Once he is finished, I'll give you an opportunity to speak on your behalf if you would like, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor, the victim's report, the defendant's criminal history does show a failure to appear for misdemeanor in 2019, and also it does have few, not all in this state, assault a police officer, well, that was in South Carolina, assault a police officer while resisting arrest, and a previous resisting arrest. In all fairness, Your Honor, it does not show a disposition for those charges, so it's unclear whether or not he was convicted on those charges. The misdemeanor failure to appear, Your Honor, these are general sessions charges, and if he did not fail, or if he did not appear on a magistrate level, it's unclear as to whether he would show up on a general sessions case charge. And these charges on Mr. Washburn, they don't rise to the level of a no bond. But I do ask that there be a cash bond, placed on the defendant.
Okay. Mr. Washington, I'll give you an opportunity if you would like to speak on your behalf at this time. Before you do so, I again want to advise you of that right to remain silent, and anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Okay?
Well, I would like to speak, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I have exercised and shown in prior cases that have just happened within this year that I have stayed, and these were pretty substantial charges. And I've stayed and went through the course of the cases, Your Honor. Also, with the nature of these cases here, like it's stating wearing masks, and yesterday was Halloween. Should be taken into consideration here. And wearing a mask without any intention of committing a crime, it should be taken note of. I mean, Freedom of Information Act was what I was in the process of doing while I was unlawfully arrested. I know we're not figuring that out, but my stance is I was unlawfully arrested for doing a constitutionally protected activity, doing a Freedom of Information Act request while protecting my identity because I wanted to do it anonymously. And the mask, because there is no reasonable expectation of privacy in public, it's on the person to create that privacy. And that's all that I was doing yesterday. But just constitutionally protected activities, Your Honor.
Okay. Lieutenant Boots would like to add something. I'm going to give him an opportunity. Yes, sir.
Can I rebuttal also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, he wanted to know if he could have a rebuttal of what you say.
So what Mr. Washburn probably did not know is when I made contact with him initially at approximately 1:48 p.m. in the afternoon, there was a prior person with a gun call at a high school, and according to the call for service, there was two subjects with masks walking from I-Right 5 points towards the high school. So want to take that into consideration also for the mask. Also, the defendant does have an address in Walterboro, so at this point he does not have an address shown here.
Okay. Mr. Washburn?
I am currently in school studying law and psychology, Your Honor. I am 3 terms away from graduation. I have assignments due on Sunday. I did not intend on getting arrested. I intended on filling out a FOIA request, which is what I did that day. And I actually have the piece of paper here.
Never let it go.
Barnwell Police Department Freedom of Information Act request form that I was doing, Your Honor. So there was no criminal intent.
Look at her eyes.
For him
She's
to bring
like,
up some
fuck.
threat that I knew nothing about when I was just walking about on my casual day, just minding my own business, is kind of absurd, Your Honor.
Okay, well, understand, we're not here to make a determination. I'm not here to try the case.
Yes,
This isn't a case in my jurisdiction. This is going to General Sessions Court. So I'm not here for that matter.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just requesting a PR bond because, for one, I am a student, full-time student, and I do not make enough money to pay a bond. That's detrimental to my schooling right now. Like, I have money to pay for my food that I have this week that's coming on Wednesday with my money. Other than that, I have nothing. I have proved that I am not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I will make these court dates just like I promised the last time. I am a man of my word. Yes, prior when I was a child and I didn't know my rights and I didn't know how to fight and I didn't know about things, yes, I made mistakes. And people do make mistakes, but I am not that guy anymore, Your Honor. Like, I am trying to make changes. I'm not out there breaking the law. Wearing a mask on Halloween, I've never heard of anybody getting arrested wearing a mask on Halloween before not committing a crime.
Okay, again, we're not here to argue the case.
I apologize, but I just...
All right, so where are you residing now, Mr. Washburn?
My address is actually in Aiken. Like, they took my identification from me unwillingly. So they got all that address, all that information off my identification. I live at 677 Live Oak Drive in Aiken. That's still a substantial little bit of drive, but it's not far enough to be any worry about, Your Honor. It's like a typical commute to work and back.
All right, so my concern here, Mr. Washburn, mainly is the charge for resisting arrest. The other charge is a pending charge, and it's to be dealt with as well. But as far as setting bond, a resisting arrest charge, I'm gonna cut it between the two of you. I'm gonna issue a cash surety bond. Amount of the bond's gonna be $3,000. That's $2,500 on the resisting and $500 on the wearing the mask. So it's a $3,000 cash surety bond. All right.
So that's 300?
Well, the bond is $3,000. You'll need to talk to a bondsman and find out how much.
Okay.
The bonding company will tell you what they'll charge you. I don't have any input into that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Williams, if you'll write in 3,000 down at the lower left.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
All right. Mr. Washburn, in that box on bail proceeding form 2, your court date is listed again, December 16th, 2024 at 10 a.m. General Sessions Court. It does state in here that you're not to leave the state of South Carolina. If you would initial in the lower right-hand corner of that box that you understand your bond. We're going to flip over to the next page. Acknowledgement by defendant. You understand that if you violate any condition of order or warrant for your arrest, you understand and have been informed that you have a right and obligation to be present at trial, and should you fail to attend the court, it will proceed in your absence. And if you fail to attend as required, a warrant for your arrest will be issued. All right. I need you to sign there at the X on the top right. If you would write in your correct address and a phone number for me over there to the left of your signature, please.
It's almost over, guys. We will be making some update videos too for you guys here in the near future, so you know what happened. Blackville, we did a number on them.
All right, Mr. Washburn, she'll take out bail proceeding form 1. What that'll leave you is with an application for a public defender. That's the application you'll fill out if you're released from the detention center. Come to the Barnwell Magistrate Office to fill that in. She'll also provide you with an information sheet of things I will need to make that determination. I know you've been represented before. Who was representing you?
Alves.
Alves. Do you plan to apply on this one?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I got a lot of schoolwork I got to do, and I'm hoping to be out by tomorrow so I can.
All right. Are you currently working? Are you employed?
I'm self-employed, independent investigative journalist, and then I remodel houses where I stay at to help pay bills.
Okay. Can you tell me about how much you make per month?
Not that much. Like I pay, it's like a trade for trade. You let me stay, I'll fix your house.
Okay. How many people reside in the house?
About 6.
All right. So again, Williams will provide you with the information I'll need. If anybody in that home over the age of 18 is working, I'll need income verification from them in order to make the determination, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any questions?
Well, I ain't doing that.
Well,
I'm pro saying that shit, but
no, I mean, no, ma'am. I respect your judgment. I do.
Okay. Good luck to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
that was it, guys. So
Okay, or this my copy too?
Yeah, you keep that and you keep this right here.
Yeah, all that, and I need, yeah, okay.
all right, so that was it, guys. That was the bond hearing. Now I see that, you know, I mean, she could have checked into more about the mask and things of this nature. I mean, that's what judges are supposed to do, but she didn't. Anyway, like I said, we're gonna make some you know, update videos about Blackville, South Carolina, what happened there. We still got to file lawsuits on the Freedom of Information Act violations and for the unlawful imprisonment, wrongful arrest, wrongful imprisonment, assault and battery done by Maurice Laverne Huggins. So if anybody knows where Maurice Laverne Huggins in South Carolina, we're looking for him. We need to find him. He needs to be held accountable. He literally was like one of the lead conspirators that had me arrested for the warrant in Indiana for filming in public. Like, he looked me up 3 days prior to my arrest to see if I had warrants, called Indiana, said, yeah, I know where he's at, I got him. Then came to get me on that day of March 9th when all that bullshit happened. And then when Indiana wasn't going to come to get me, they come to try to hit me with the fucking false gun charges, yo. False gun charges. Long and short, I beat all that shit. I'm going to file suit. Like, yeah. I love y'all. I want to get this video out too. Thank you for the support. God bless. Thank you, Rogue Nation. You are the fucking man, brother. J-Town Press, San Joaquin Valley Transparency, The Armed Fisherman, Flex Your Freedoms, Long Island Audit. I love all of you guys, man. Let's stay united. Direct D, I love you too, man, you fucker. Just be united, y'all. All right, peace.